The reviews are in from last night's presidential debate, and the biggest loser? CNN. The network is getting demolished by the press, and we're not talking about conservative media. This is from the New York Times. Quote, the network threw the candidates into the ring. The only thing missing was a ring girl carrying a card above her head. Politico called it a 3-hour debate from hell, too long and too loosely governed. And check out the cover of the New York Daily News today, Clown News Network. Now, even the candidates weren't happy with the event last night. Listen.
Every once in a while, there was a candidate or two who just decided they were going to run everybody over. It was really getting kind of boring and tedious, I'm sure, for the folks on the other side of the camera.
It looked like they were promoting a pay-per-view boxing match, and then, of course, once the thing started, you could see very clearly early on that it was going to be one of these things where if you wanted more time to speak, you were going to have to interrupt somebody and jump in.
The last 3 questions to 3 hours, according to that data. We actually had to interrupt.
3 hours for a debate is too long. It's ridiculous, actually. Gone with the Wind is 3 hours and 20 minutes, right?
If I were sitting at home and watching this back and forth, I'd be inclined to turn it off.
All right, Dana. Your thoughts?
I just said it took CNN to get all the candidates to agree on one thing. Actually, we don't have the clip of Dr. Ben Carson, who, of course, in his gentle way, said that he didn't feel like it was a great format, especially for him, and that he would have liked to have been able to speak a little bit more. Not easy with 11 candidates. Of course, Fox knows that when from the previous debate. I think that, though, the consensus from media critics is that CNN didn't have as good a night as they could have. My one big quibble, I don't understand announcing that you are going to pit the candidates against one another as if that is like a wonderful thing to advocate for your network going into it, because it put everybody on edge, and it looked so aggressive. I think if I were those guys and doing this again, if you want to do that tactic, great, just don't announce it.
Well, and not only did they announce it, they went right at it.
Well, my only criticism was that it was too short. It should be an endurance test. I want people, if you're going to be president, you're going to be up all night making decisions. It should have been 7-8 hours long. Plus, they blew a huge opportunity with the plane. They have this beautiful plane. They should have been seated on the wings or around the plane. I think that would have been more attractive. I think, I don't know. You know what? We knew from the start that Trump is an aggressive guy. They like to tumble, so they created an arena for it. I don't think it's CNN's fault. And we have to remember, about a month ago, the FNC was getting trashed for very similar things, and I don't remember CNN making fun of us over that.
Very quickly, I agree with you for different reasons. I could have watched it for 7 hours.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved watching the debate. So I'm looking for the next one. And by the way, I think Trump says if he's going to do it again, he wants his plane in the background instead of the Reagan plane.
I mean, why not? Great
branding
opportunity. But here's the thing: it just took too long. I think it was too long, and they were getting a little bit of fade and fatigue at the end of it. Like they literally looked like they were going to pass out.
But isn't that you should have seen Gutfeld.
No, they reminded me of all the women the night that I delivered. I was like, it was like a rough crew in there. They're sweating. It was like, I don't even know. They needed some smelling salts or aromatherapy.
So you're comparing the debate to childbirth.
They needed a smoke break.
Was that awesome?
No, I literally heard that there was a line for the bathroom, like in the commercial break, and they were fighting to get in there first.
That was to take stimulants.
A lot of this, I think. First of all, you could have watched for 7 hours.
Yeah, I love it. No, I'm not kidding.
You know what? Your life.
Swear to God, in my life.
You know what? I'm going to help you.
Swear to God, I absolutely do.
I'm going to get you some books, some movies. We're going to have some fun.
That was better TV. That's more.
No, he likes political theater, but the problem is by the end it was like, what was your childhood dog's name?
Yeah. Look, it became tedious. But you know what happened was they were reacting to the success of the Fox debate. So they looked at the Fox debate and they said, you know what? When you look at Megyn Kelly, when you look at Chris Wallace, when you look at Bret Baier, they became, and their questions were so sharp, they became the focus. And as a result, people were talking about them, not the candidates. So we're going to have the candidates go at each other. Yeah. And what they did, though, was not control. It's good to encourage conversation and debate, but what happened was there was no control. Britt Hume said last night on O'Reilly, he said they should have had a buzzer, because what happened is you have people feeling like, one, they're talking over each other, or they can't get in.
This is a special report.
I hate this. I hate to do this to you, Juan, but we have to move on. We have a lot of sound for that reason. We're going to go to some of the moments that stood out last night. And KG, your thoughts. You're first.
Yes, I loved Carly Fiorina. I think she had a hugely powerful moment that everybody loved. Let's take a listen to this when she's talking about Planned Parenthood.
As regards Planned Parenthood, anyone who has watched this videotape, I dare Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama to watch these tapes. Watch a fully formed fetus on the table, its heart beating, its legs kicking, while someone says we have to keep it alive to harvest its brain. This is about the character of our nation. And if we will not stand up and force President Obama to veto this bill, shame on us.
Yeah. Stacey, a lot of people say she won the debate last night.
Yeah, a lot of people thought she did very well. I was one of them. I thought Rubio also had a great night, and Christie had some great points, too. But Carly was powerful. She's extremely well prepared, very versatile on a variety of subjects. I think she also had another great moment, which I won't toss to another one, don't worry. But on foreign policy, she had a lot of good specifics there, and she just seemed very well equipped. And maybe she might change her mind later on some of the things she said. But she had answers and specifics, which I like. And then you can always invite other people into the arena, the experts, to make some decisions.
You know, I thought she looked emotional.
Can I just point out there's a lot of pushback on... yeah, let's not go there. We'll gloss over that one real quick.
No, but that's what I was going to say.
There's a lot of pushback on the facts of that
thank you. Juan, yeah, because you know what is not right. I mean, she appeals to the far right's emotions, and there's no such video, right? And then secondly, this thing about she's encouraging a government shutdown, is that good for Republicans? Right. But it played well.
Throw to your side now, Juan.
Well, I think that the moment really that everyone, I think, got a kick out of, especially if you've been in a Brooklyn schoolyard, was Trump to Jeb Bush when they were going back and forth and Bush interrupted him.
You got Hillary Clinton to go to your wedding because you gave her money. True. Maybe it works for Hillary Clinton. It doesn't work for anybody on this stage.
I was a businessman. I got along with Clinton. I got along with everybody. That was my job, to get along with people.
But the simple fact is...
Excuse me. 1 second.
No.
I didn't want to...
The simple fact is, Donald, you cannot take...
More energy tonight. I like that. Look.
You know, and then later, of course, he tried to get Trump to apologize for what he said about his Mexican wife. And you know what? Trump didn't play that game. And finally, I thought, picking up on this, you saw Jeb Bush then at the end when he came back and said that his handle, if the Secret Service has to give him a handle as president, would be ever ready. So I think it was all about
did a little
low
high five
energy.
On that.
Yeah,
that was cute.
Yeah, that was cute. Thank you.
But you know, I was surprised that Trump did that because he's been very steadfast in what he's been saying about Jeb Bush, low energy for literally 2 months. He took that off the table last night.
No, he didn't. No, I think Trump that was a play on it. That was talking about, oh, you have no energy tonight. Oh, you're going to come back at me, big boy? You know, come on.
No, it suggests that he's dictating his behavior.
Thank you, Kimberly.
I agree with you, Eric, but I also thought it was a magnanimous moment and a smart one for Trump.
I agree.
Very good. Okay, throw to yours.
Okay, there's another one with Carly Fiorina and Trump. This had to go deal with the comment in Rolling Stone magazine that Trump made about her face.
You know, it's interesting to me. Mr. Trump said that he heard Mr. Bush very clearly and what Mr. Bush said. I think women all over this country heard very clearly what Mr. Trump said.
I think she's got a beautiful face, and I think she's a beautiful woman.
So I used the Frank Luntz focus group graph to show what it's not just me, right? So the moderates and conservatives watching the debate thought that she had a good moment and that he didn't at that moment. The other thing is pretty interesting about women. We talk about having this ability, Kimberly, even here or wherever we are. Women have ability to give a look. You don't have to say a word.
You've got one.
You have a look. I have. You've got them. I mean, women have the ability to have a look. Guys don't have it as much.
That's sexist. I have a look.
We win on the look.
Yeah, and she gave him a look.
I'm going to give the ladies the win on this one.
Smart man.
Exactly. Can I say something? When these people are in the audience, these dials, they go like this. Is that what they do?
I've never been invited. Frank should invite me. I have got some opinions.
All right, moving along.
Mine, I picked a moment that I didn't like. So let's roll that moment.
I am totally in favor of vaccines, but I want smaller doses over a longer period of time. Just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
We have extremely well-documented proof that there's no autism associated with vaccinations. But it is true that we are probably giving way too many in too short a period of time.
One of the greatest medical discoveries of all time were the vaccines. But I'm also for freedom. I'm also a little concerned about how they're bunched up.
Okay, this is a really bad thing to happen to the Republican Party. A hysterical anti-science point of view about vaccines. And using an anecdote with a child is destructive and it's ignorant because it's not science. It's a false causal argument to say because vaccines and autism symptoms appear at the same time, ergo the vaccines cause autism. That's the same as saying, you know, when you have ice cream and you get sunburns in the summertime, therefore ice cream causes sunburns. It's stupid, and it's bad for Republicans. And not only that, it's deadly and it's dangerous. We're seeing outbreaks of measles all around the world. We're seeing it in Australia. We're seeing it in Africa, where people are actually dying. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, we're having outbreaks in Disneyland. Why is this happening? Because people are listening to bozos who are questioning the validity of what is really a wall. Science built a wall against disease, and it's called vaccines. If you're going to be for a wall for immigration, you should be a wall against for disease.
Did the other two agree with them, though? To a
it was terrible.
extent?
They're doctors, and I'm glad Ben Carson feebly came up and said something. But they are doctors, and they have a responsibility to defend the profession because there are doctors like them every day who have to confront this argument. Whenever they go in there and they have worried mothers or elderly people who don't want vaccines, they're the ones in the front lines, and those doctors are on TV, and they should have come out and they should have been forthright about it. Ben slightly did it, but he's so soft-spoken, he was barely there. And Rand, who cares about Rand?
Oh, no, but I think, you know, hats off. That's just so strong and so right. I'm so glad you said that. And I liked what Carson said when he said, so maybe he's an okay doctor. Yeah, that was cute.
Republicans aren't the only one with that problem, though.
Yeah, well, no, Hillary had the same issue in the primary 2008. Mm-hmm. She said that she was going to look into the causes of autism, including vaccines.
And I think, didn't Christie also flip-flop on that as well? Maybe they stay away from that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they go with the science.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be better.
Yeah. Party of science, people.
Well, okay, how about this? I'll just throw it in my soundbite. The early debate was also good. I thought it was going to be horrible, but there was a point where I think Lindsey Graham stepped up, and he was really relatable. He was funny, and certainly turned my mind about that candidate. Listen.
Ronald Reagan did a couple of really big things that we should all remember. He sat down with Tip O'Neill, the most liberal guy in the entire House. They started drinking together. That's the first thing I'm going to do as president. We're going to drink more. And what did these two great Irishmen do? They found a way to save Social Security from bankruptcy by adjusting the age of retirement from 65 to 67.
And see what he did there. He was not only funny and relatable, he also took a funny story and then turned it into a policy idea, and that was spot on. I've been really hard on Lindsey Graham.
Showed an open mind.
And you know what? He showed maybe if some of the other people on stage would take a cue from Lindsey Graham's performance.
Yeah, he needed that. You know, he needed that last night, and you actually got an ability to see who he is, get to know him a little bit better, and he showcased very well.
What happens if he doesn't? If you're still on that table for 3 times, you got to call it quits. He was the best.
Well, he definitely improved from his first time. Yeah. So even if he doesn't go any further, that's the last thing that you remember. I thought it was great, and he looked like he was having fun.
Yeah, maybe he had a drink.
Maybe he did.
Maybe that's the secret. That's the answer to the secret. That's what I do.
And Jindal did decent too. He was good.
Yeah.
That was
but you know what?
The early debate there was a
lot
of good stuff.
Because it was much more organized, the format, and you could actually hear what people said because that dog pile frenzy that they had, we're back in Rome, feed him to the lions after
25 minutes per person.
It's a joke.
It's an hour.
Yeah, but what happened? You know
Walker
what?
had 8 minutes.
You know what was cool about that first debate was that's the only time I saw Hugh Hewitt and Dana Bash. Were they at the other debate?
Can I be honest with you, Juan? You are making such an important point. I mean, they billed this as Hugh Hewitt and Dana Bash were going to be there. He was supposed to be the conservative voice of the RNC. He was non-existent, unfortunately.
No, but at the first debate,
I'm talking about the main stage.
Right.
I ran into him at the gift shop.
Because he was taking a break.
He was buying my book.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, my God.
What's the name of that book?